Hello everybody, let's get started. I must admit, on this video I'm quite nervous. The reason is I know there will be many negative comments around it. People trying to convince me that this, what I'm about to tell here, is absolute bullshit. However, I want to try to explain my thinking when it comes to XRP market mechanics. Those who have been following me know that I'm a strong believer from the Shane Ellis theory, that I believe the price will spike high and fast. In this video, I'm trying to give an idea. Don't nail me on those numbers. It's just a playground. But I'm trying to give an idea why there is no other possibility for a healthy market to have a high XRP price. I don't do any prediction on where the price will go. You may get a hunch of what I'm thinking where it may get, and I will not go down the road and tell you when it will happen, because I have no clue, basically. Okay, now let's get started with the content. First, I've created a few tables to get an overall picture of what I'm trying to talk about in this video. The basis of this video, of the content, is Ledger Exposed. I think, if I'm not wrong, it's a website done by Wietse Wind, a guy from the Netherlands, I think. And on that site you basically can see how many accounts hold how many XRP. I have marked on the right hand the accounts in light green we most likely can take into account. I left out the top 100 or 60, I think it's top 60 accounts, which I would assume are Ripple employees and maybe a few of the exchanges involved in that whole market. The rest, some of them are still not small investors. They hold 20 million, 10 million, 5 million or a million, maybe half a million, but everything below, I would say, is, like me, people whom I call small investors. Okay, so the sum of XRP held by all the accounts, again, without the top 60 accounts, is 11 billion. Okay? Let's assume that on an average day 2 billion XRP is traded. It's like 20%. The next table here I have tried to show, starting with the price as we have it now, 50 cents, and these are the days. If we had a 5% daily increase, how fast we would come to which price. So after a month we would be on $2, after 2 months on $10, after 3 months on $40, after 4 months on $170. Why did I put that here? Well, that comes clear when you read my assumptions I'm making for this video, for the content I'm trying to bring across. One assumption is we're not a welfare organization. We want to make some profit with XRP. And my assumption is we want to make at least 5% profit when we buy and sell after that. Most of us even are looking for 500 or 5,000 or 50,000 or 500,000 or 5,000,000% profit. That would basically make those numbers I'm going to show now even higher or better in terms of price. But let's stick with the 5%. We also assume that every holder of this account here, without the top 60 accounts, is willing to sell his XRP when a bank wants to do a transaction. Okay? I hope you're still with me. Now let's look at the first table. On the top row I have listed assumed daily volumes. 2 billions, first column, is what a bank like HSBC could bring on a daily level. That's 0.1 or less % of Swift's daily volume. Then I made a column with 5 million, 20 billion, 50 billion, and 500 billion. 500 billion would still be only 10% of the daily Swift volume. Now, in the first column are the prices I have assumed or proposed XRP might reach. The figures in the table would show how many days this XRP total supply from all the accounts would sustain the market until the price would need to be increased. That's why I have put this table here. That table basically would reduce those figures here. You cannot just multiply the 3 days from 50 cents and then start again, because the price then would increase by 5%. Okay, so that's the assumption from the first table. However, I think it's anyway interesting to look at these figures. So as we can see, at 50 cents the total supply without the price increase would last for exactly 3 days and the market would be dry. In those 3 days we would have had 3 times a 5% increase, and most likely some people were willing to sell again, pending they had bought again after they had sold their initial XRP. Okay, I know it's a bit complicated, but stay with me and you will get the idea where I'm trying to get to. So when we look at the last column, 500 billion, which may well occur if the rumors are correct that one or the other way Swift GPI can and maybe is being supported by RippleNet. There has been a recent announcement, I think it was Banco Bradesco, who announced they will be using RippleNet, yet they're also on the live list of Swift GPI. We had the same thing happening about 6 weeks back with Santander, and as everyone knows, Santander is one of the banks which are actually supporting Ripple and the products and XRP very highly. Okay, let's come back to that table. So at $10,000 or at let's take the example $5,000 at a volume of 500 billion after about 4 months, the market would be dry. And don't forget, we are not a welfare organization. We wanna make profit, okay? Because there will be people telling me, yeah, but you can use one XRP multiple times a day. That's right. But those XRP have to come from someone, and everyone wants to make a profit, and there has to be a valid market behind it. Some people may remember that one, which I had compared with real Swiss money, and I have been asking which one you would prefer. So you only would accept the one which is accepted publicly. So there has to be a market, and there has to be small investors like us being interested in what is traded. Okay. The first table was based on total market supply. Now, the average market supply, because not everyone will sell immediately. There are many hodlers, as we are calling them, people who do not want to sell their XRP yet for whatever reason, because the price is too low, or they're just happy with having XRP. So the average daily supply, and by average I really mean the top supply, because I haven't seen one day in this past year where all those 11 billion XRP have been traded. Really, the maximum was 2 billion. So in this table, we're doing the same calculation as in the table before. And here you see, again, I want to recall, we are not a welfare organization, we want to make some profit. So after 20 days at the price of $5,000 on a volume of 500 billion, the market would be dry. Okay? For 10,000, it's double that amount. It's 40 days, a little bit over a month. Okay? Now, I hope I can show that last table. Now, this table here relates more or less to Shane Ellis' theory again. Here I have listed 20% of these possible volumes coming around from the banks. 20% because I think it's a fair number of transactions which may go through Bittrex, either in Malta or in US. I guess that's not totally outrageous. Now, we again have the prices for XRP and how many XRP actually would need to be sold every day in order to accomplish that volume at a particular price. Now let me tell you, the actual value, the actual XRP on Bittrex being sold every day is roughly 2 million. So here we are on 10,000. In this table we are for a month on 10,000. And even on the total supply, I guess it doesn't make sense that after like 3 or 4 months the market is dry already. So in each of my basically calculations and thinking, I end up at that really high price. But I think that's what liquidity means. At that price, any transaction from a bank will find an appropriate sell order from a small investor like you and me. Now let that sink in. And with that, I wish everyone a nice Sunday, and I'm looking for feedback on Twitter and on YouTube. Thanks, stay tuned for my next video.